Hello, students, and welcome back. I hope you had a fabulous break. Let's get started with reviewing division because that's what we learned before we headed off for our winter break. All right, but before we get started, I need you to do the following. If you are online, my Zoomers, I need you to have two separate tabs. So I need you to make a tab for a number line of Math Learning Center, and I need you to make a tab for the base 10 blocks of Math Learning Center, okay? So before I get started, those are the two tabs that you're going to need so that you can use the manipulatives, meaning the items, to do it along, to solve and to do it along with me. Those of you who are my roomers, all you need to do is have your math notebook, a pencil, and you will also need your tiles, okay? You can get your tiles. So go ahead and put pause and get those things. All right, so let's go ahead and look at what we're doing. We're going to do division strategy review, and we're going to apply what we've learned using word problems. So the first thing we have here is equal groups. Mrs. Garza has 24 cookies and 6 bags. How many cookies will go in each bag? Now, as we look at this, if you remember, I had mentioned you need to be very careful of understanding the groups because you want the right visual representation. So if it gives you the bags, you know how many groups there are. If it doesn't give you the groups, or in this case, in this problem, if it didn't give us the bags, we would have to find that. So let's look at how we have it here. So we're looking for how many cookies go in each bag. It gives us 6 bags. That is your groups. Groups are anything that is put together. It could be teams, boxes, packages. Things that are grouped together, put together, are known as groups. And a bag holds things together, so that's a group. Then you have 24 cookies. That is your total. Remember, division is when you have a total and you separate into equal groups. That is division. All right, so 24 is my total. And what we're going to do is we're going to put that in 6 bags. So I want you to pause in your math journal and pencil. I want you to draw how to solve it. When you're done, come back. All right, so since there's 6 bags, I'm going to draw 6 circles. That represents my bag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? And then I'm going to be careful. Don't put 24 inside each bag. We're not multiplying. Remember, we're getting this total and we're separating to equal groups. So we're going to do 1 for you, and we're going to keep going till we reach that total, also known as our dividend. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, so there we have our 24. I stop. I'm going to make sure that everything is equal. Make sure you have them equal. If not, you went off somewhere. And then I'm going to see, well, how many is in each bag? There is my answer, 4. Your answer to division is a quotient. But you know what? We need to do our division equation that this represents. If you didn't do that in your own personal work, pause, put it down. All right, now let's see what it should have been. All right, so the equation should have been 24, and it is divided by 6 equals 4. Your quotient is 4. So our dividend, your total is 24, our divisor is 6, and our quotient is 4. All right, notice what it looks like. We have our 6 bags, 4 in each, because in the next one, it is also going to be equal groups, but it's going to be a different representation. Let's see how that is. So this time, Mrs. Garza has 24 cookies. She wants to place 6 cookies in each bag. How many bags will she use? Do you notice it? Do you see the difference? Let's look at it. All right. Oh, let me erase that. Okay, so we have how many bags will she use? We have 6 cookies inside each bag, and she has 24 cookies. So we still have the same dividend, there's still the same total. But this time, I don't have the bags. I need to find the bags. I need to find the groups. So how do we solve that? Well, Why don't you try it out for yourself in your notebook and then come back to me? So put pause, try it. Okay, so now let's see how it's really supposed to do. All right, so the way you do this is just draw 24 tallies. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. All right, once I reach a 24, because I know there's 6 cookies in each bag, now what I'm going to do is circle every 6 because that represents every 6 cookies. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me make sure I'm right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. There we go. Excuse me, throat is dry. All right, now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There it is. Done. You know you did it right if you have stopped at that 6. If you're like 5 or 7, somewhere you went wrong. And you also know if you're right that each one has an equal amount, and it does. Now be very careful, because I have had students that they're so used to counting 6, 6, that I've seen them do as an equation, 24 divided by 6 equals 6, and they choose 6. No. Be very careful. So let's look. The correct equation, and if you didn't put your equation, do it now. Put pause and do it. All right. So the equation is going to be 24 divided by, guess what? It's exactly like the other one that we did. It's still 24 divided by 6 equals 4. It's just that we have a different representation. Well, what is it? Well, how many bags will she use? Be careful. Go back and check yourself. After counting 6 so much, you might think 6. Remember I said that. Well, I'm looking for the bags. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have my 4 groups, so it is 4. This is why it's also important to know your multiplication. You can check yourself and think, well, what times 6 equals 24? Is 4 times 6 24? Yes, it is. So this is a correct representation. Here is your dividend, divisor, and your quotient. Your answer is 4. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our next word problem. Our next word problem is with a number line. Okay, so that means Zoomers, you're going to use your number line app. And Roomers, actually, you can also use the number line app as well. Or if you want to challenge yourself, you can do it in your Spiral U as well at home. So go ahead and get that ready. Okay, so now let's look at our word problem. And it says, Adam has 12 toy cars. He and his 3 cousins want to equally share the cars. How many cars will each child have to play with? Well, we have the 12 toy cars. That is your total. That is your quotient. Remember, division separated into equal groups. He and his 3 cousins. Ooh, be careful with this because I see this happening a lot. Because you see the 3, I have students who do just the 3. But notice it says he and his 3 cousins. So that's a hidden number there. He is that 1. What's 3 and 1? It's 4. So I'm going to go ahead and put a 4 on top of here to remind myself that that's actually 4 people, not 3. All right. So Adam has 12 cars and he and his 3 cousins, so 4 people, they want to share it equally. So that tells me that my equation right here is going to be 12 divided by, it's going to be 12 divided by 4 equals, now some of you, my students, know your facts already, and you're going to know, oh, well, I know what times 4 equals 12. If you do, you are correct, but we want to use the strategy. So now what I need you to do is pause and answer this using a number line. When you're done, come back and check if you did it right. All right, so 12 divided by 4. Well, so what we're going to do is we're going to start at the 12. There are 2 ways to solve this, okay? The first way is to do it as it's usually done because of the fact that it is what you call backwards multiplication, well, excuse me, what you would call repeated subtraction. It is like backwards multiplication, but in a number line, it's repeated subtraction, okay? So when you have your 12, you start at your 12, and when you have 4, that means you're going to go backwards every 4. So let me see. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Something that I noticed helped my students is just put dots every 4 so you won't lose count. So say 1, 2, 3, 4, and connect the dots. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put my dot and connect my dot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, when you reach 0, you know you've gotten it correct. Check your number line that you have done it on your spiral and make sure that you did go back by 4. If you have one with a 4 and a 3 and a 2 and it's all unorganized, it is not correct. Be careful. Once you reach the 0, what you do is you count your jumps. We'll have 1, 2, 3 jumps. So my answer is 3. I got 3. The quotient should be 3. So if you got 3, you are correct. However, another way that you can solve this, if this is more simpler for you, instead of going backwards by 4, let me show you a more simpler way. Let me cancel that and just erase this part. All right, so a simpler way, another way, actually, it depends on you. It could be simple to you to do it this way or another way. Okay, or the other way. Because division is also multiplication, backwards multiplication, if it's easier, what you could also do is start at 0, and you see that 4, count forward 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, stop. 6, 7, 8, stop. 9, 10, 11, 12, stop. And then it equals, I see it reached my 12 because I got to reach my 12. I count my jumps and I still have 3. The quotient is still 3. So I wanted to show that to you because there's 2 ways you can use a number line. Number 1, you can start at 12 and go backwards by the divisor, the 4. Or you can start at 0 and count forward by the divisor 4. Go back but you got to stop at 12. Don't keep going. Stop at that dividend, 12. Once you stop at the dividend, count your jumps, and you have your total. So those are the 2 ways you can use the number line for division. Okay? All right. So now let's go back and let's see what our next strategy is. All right. You probably already know. The area or array model, array model. The reason why I have both is because they both work the same way. It's just one is a group of objects put together. The other one's a grid, a square, lots of squares put together. All right, so let's see what this says. Aldi has 18 cans to sort into 6 rows. How many cans will go in each row? All right, so my roomers, get those tiles ready. And you're going to use your tiles to solve this equation, okay? And my other students and my Zoomers, go ahead and get to the number pieces at, okay? All right, but before we do that, let's look at what we need to do. It says there's 18 cans. Okay, 18 cans. And they want it in 6 rows. So they're already telling you your rows. How awesome is that? They want to know how many goes in each row. So I already know that my equation is going to be 18 divided by 6, and we're going to find out what it equals. If you already know it because you know your multiplication, fabulous, but you want to have the correct representation. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's solve this using an array. So I'm writing it down again so I can make sure to remember. So it's 18 divided by 6. Get those tiles ready. I want you to solve it using an area or array model. And when you find it, then come back. So find it right now, pause, and then come back when you find it. All right, so because it's 18 divided by 6, one thing that I always like to do is I like to set it up nice and neat. And the way I set it up is I make this kind of, I call it it's like a multiplication T, but it's division too. And it just keeps it organized because I know that this is my rows and these are going to be my columns, okay? All right, so 18 divided by 6. Well, I'm going to line up for my rows. So that's 1, okay? The beginning of my rows, my line leaders for my rows. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So that's the beginning of my rows. I have my 6 rows. I know that for sure that it is my 6 rows. And what I'm looking for are my columns, okay? So remember, if you didn't remember this, you look at your work and like, oh, what did I do wrong? You're going to keep adding on to your rows until you equal 18, Okay, now thankfully with this fabulous app, I can circle it, come here where it says to copy, and I can put it next to it to make it neat. Make sure your arrays or area models are neat. If not, you get the wrong answer. You don't want to be messy. So now I have to count it, and that's 12. I need to reach 18. So then I go and I can do it again. All right, let's see if I'm correct. So I have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. There is my 18. That's it right there. So now I'm going to count my columns. 1, 2, 3. There are my columns. 3 columns. So my quotient is 3. See how we did the array or area mod? Well, this is an array. I put my rows and I keep adding to it until I reach the dividend, that total. Once you reach your total, it is 3. Please remember that whenever you do add it with your tiles, you don't go and add to your row, or if it looks like this, something's wrong. Some students, I know they keep going on this way. No, you got to keep with your rows, okay? All right. So as far as what it looks like for an area model looks exactly the same. The only difference, so you use for an area model, it'll be the same procedure where you create your 6 rows and you keep adding on to the rows until you reach 18. The only difference is it's going to be put together like this. This is an area model. An aerial model is where it's put together in a grid, and this will be considered a grid, okay, where it's all put together. It's a space put all together, okay? Just so that you know what the difference is. That's an area model. The first time around was an array, and now I have an area model. All right, so now let's look at our last strategy. Congratulations, you've made it to the end. All right, so our last strategy is sorry about that, get rid of this. A strip diagram, okay? The more practice we get, the better it's going to get. Remember, strips are like your groups. Those are your boxes. The boxes are your groups. So Franco made $21 for mowing lawns. Okay, you know, mow lawn. Okay, cutting the grass. If he mowed 3 lawns, how much money does he charge for each lawn? So we're looking for how much money for every lawn. Now, we do know that he made a total of $21. And we do know that he mowed 3 lawns. So your equation, well, before I tell you, write it down in your spiral right now. Pause, do it. Okay. So your equation is 21 divided by 3 equals, that's what you're going to find out. I know some of you already know it, but let's show it using a strip diagram. Now, if you remember in a strip diagram, basically you have a hole. Sometimes your hole can be on top, it can be on bottom. There's all different ways. And then you're going to have, now, I'm not going to require you to do this in your spiral because I know we're still learning it, but go ahead and attempt it and then come back. All right, now let's go ahead and do this. Okay, so I know that's like, Miss Garza, it looks exactly the same. Exactly. We're going to make it divided in 2. So Franco made $21 for mowing lawns. If he mowed 3 lawns, now because he has 3 lawns, that tells me 3 parts. It gave me the groups. The lawns are your groups. It's a bunch of grass grouped together. All right. And see how the 21, this is a whole. A whole is your total. So I'm going to put here 21. Now, technically, what this would represent is what a strip diagram would represent for division. So when you have a total, a whole, and you're missing the equal parts, that is what a division strip diagram looks like. So if you did something similar to that on your own, you did it correctly. Now, when you know your facts, you would know that inside the box would have been 7. So really, strip diagrams is a matter of, it helps you to think the process out, and you have to know what it represents best. You still have to solve it, but you want to know how to write it correctly. That's how you do strip diagrams, okay? All right, so those were all our strategies that we have learned for division. I hope you remember that. If there's something you need to repeat, go ahead, rewind, and look at it again. Make sure you do your exit ticket, students. I will see y'all later.